Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmad Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Let's take a look at what we're discussing. First of all, we talk about some terrific news for Pakistan at the netball sport that we talk about. Pakistan has clinched the title of the Asian Netball Junior Championship, and the girls were absolutely superb. After they beat Japan in the semi-final, they continued their stellar run, and we did talk about the fact that they topped the group stages in Pool B, but it was very important to gauge them that how they play the knockout stages, because that becomes a different ball game and you need to be mentally very strong. But they've managed to keep their nerves and they've played a stellar final and they have clinched the title. Congratulations to them beating Maldives in the final to win the title of this netball championship. And I think all of these girls, their coaching staff, including the Netball Federation, deserve a lot of applause, and I would at this stage say that they really deserve a hero's welcome. The fact still remains that no one has really talked about netball besides the fact that they were winning. So I think that's one disappointing factor that we talk about as well. But then again, I think once again, congratulations to all these girls. They've put on a stellar performance. Then we move on to some more updates from the international world as well. Some devastating news came from Nanga Parbat, where a Czech mountaineer has of course died during her expedition to Nanga Parbat. This is of course very, very disappointing when we talk about the 46-year-old Klara Kolochova. She was also the first Czech woman among 7 attempting to scale Nanga Parbat, and of course she was part of a 7-member expedition team. So far news is that Alpine Club is assisting in recovery efforts as well. She was also the first Czech woman to summit Mount Everest and also K2, the highest and the second highest mountain in the world as well. It's very disappointing. Like I said, she fell from the mountain between Camp 1 and Camp 2 and plunged to her death. So our condolences go out to Clara's family, her husband, who was also part of this expedition, this 7-member expedition. I can only imagine what he would be going through right now, but our prayers and our condolences to those who of course mourn this loss. It's always very disappointing when you lose someone to the sport that you love as well, once again. And also, the Army's Additional Deputy Commissioner Nizamuddin has also said that Clara's teammates have confirmed her death after returning to base camp, but the body remains at the fall site. So efforts are underway, of course, to recover her body, and all kinds of assistance from the local administration to the mountaineering clubs as well is being assisted. Then we move on and we discuss the second test match between Australia and the West Indies as well, which has of course turned into some great sort of events. Australia is all out on 286 runs. They had of course some partnerships in between, but once again West Indies I think bowled really well as well. They got top ordered out cheaply, so they were good enough in that. But then again, that partnership between Beau Webster and Alex Carey, one going with 60 and the other with 63 runs, that partnership really propelled Australia to I think something that is a very, very decent score on this surface. For West Indies, 4 wickets by Alzari Joseph and 2 by Jaden Seals and 1 each by Shamar Joseph, Anderson Phillip and Justin Greaves as well. So of course congratulations to the West Indies, because I think they'll be happy with once again, but that partnership really needed to be broken and they managed to do that as well. Otherwise I thought 350 again is on the cards, the way Alex Carey and Beau Webster were playing. That being said, we then move on to some devastating news that came from the world of football, as star footballer Diogo Jota has passed away in a car crash. It was a horrific car crash that claimed the life of Diogo Jota. This had been a very, very inspiring year for him, from winning the EPL, going on to win the European Cup, and then to he just got married as well this year as well, and then unfortunate demise in a car crash as well. Very, very disappointing. Fans around the world are heartbroken, they're devastated. Condolences have come from all over the world. They've even come from Pakistan as well. Pakistan tennis star and also president of the Pakistan Tennis Federation, Isamul Haq, also took to digital media to mourn the loss of Diogo Jota and called it an untimely demise as well. And he said that he offers condolences to the family and friends of Diogo Jota as well. And like I said, football fans around the world are devastated with this loss. So much potential from this footballer. If you talk about his international career, you talk about club football, we were still yet to see the best in him, and I think it's very, very disappointing, and our condolences as well to the friends and family of Diogo Jota. Then we move on and we discuss the FIFA Club World Cup as well. We have talked about the lineup that has been completed, including the quarter-final lineup. Some great matches to look forward to that we've been talking about as well, and it's all set to begin tonight, and there are some stellar. I think all eyes right now are on Al Hilal. So I think they're being tipped to actually reach the final. They face Fluminense. That's going to be another very interesting match. I often say that we tend to really underrate Brazilian football clubs, but they have got some talent up their sleeves as well with the freestyle, style of football that they're playing as well. So we will talk about that in detail as well. Time now to introduce the guests. First of all, joining us in studio, sports expert Ali Abbas. Assalamu alaikum, Ali. Welcome back to the show.
Walaikum Assalam, Ahmad. Really happy to be back.
Thank you very much for joining us. Also joining us is first-class cricketer and sports expert Kashif Majeed. Assalamu alaikum, Kashif. How are you?
Walaikum Assalam, Ahmad. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And also joining us is senior sports journalist Abdul Jabbar Faisal. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Walaikum Assalam. I'm fine. Have a nice day, viewers.
Thank you very much. So now, before we move on to the details, we've got a report on Pakistan's stellar performance in the Netball Championship. Let's take a look at this report.
In a historic and thrilling performance, Pakistan emerged as the champions of the Asian Youth Girls Netball Championship 2025, defeating the Maldives with an impressive 60-35 victory in the final. The Pakistani team took control of the match from the outside and maintained their dominance throughout all 4 quarters. Standout performances were delivered by Alisha Naveed, Sumaya Kosar, Halima, Jasmine, Alina, Amani, Parisa and Farah Rashid, whose teamwork and determination ensured Pakistan's stronghold on the game from start to finish. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif congratulated the team on their remarkable achievement, calling it a proud moment for the nation. Officials from the Pakistan Netball Federation praised the team for their historic win. The championship, held under the auspices of the Asian Netball Federation, ran from June 27 to July 4th. Pakistan had a dominant run in the tournament, starting with a 71-15 victory over Saudi Arabia. They went on to defeat Chinese Taipei 56-32, followed by a massive 91-6 win against South Korea and a commanding 79-39 victory over Japan. This victory marks a significant milestone in Pakistan's youth netball history and highlights the growing strength of the sports in the country.
Right, there you have it. Saba Shafique gives us the details of Pakistan's stellar performance. Congratulations from all of us here at Sports Extra to the Pakistan Netball Junior team. I think they've done a fantastic job, and they, like I said, they deserve a hero's welcome. And I think the story should not die down. We should be celebrating them, and this story should be top of the headlines for every news outlet that we talk about. And once they come back, I think they should be hailed as heroes as well. It's not easy. I've followed their group stages as well. They beat Korea. In Korea, that wasn't an easy task. The top Group B, then they moved on, and then they won the semi-final against Japan, and then they clinched the final against Maldives. So once again, congratulations to them. Time now to discuss cricket in detail. We are talking about Australia versus West Indies. Australia have been bowled out. Their top order has really struggled, Ali Abbas, when we talk about the West Indies so far, but there's been performances in between, and Alex Carey, I think, has done a fantastic job in both the test matches.
Yeah, Alex Carey, and if he didn't do a fantastic job, obviously, I think West Indies were going to win the first match. There were a couple of really, strange decisions by the umpire who was monitoring the DRS, I must say, but obviously, I think Darren Semi is already in a lot of trouble for that, so won't go into that. But yeah, so listen, Steve Smith wasn't playing, and if Steve Smith isn't playing, and you bring in Josh Inglis into the team, if you have a middle order or lower middle order that is comprising of Cameron Green, Josh Inglis, Travis Head, Bo Webster, Alex Carey. Now, these are really reliable players, but you need stronger characters. So I think Steve Smith.
But that happened in the first test match. But once you have Steve Smith back in the second, you automatically expect him to do well. But it's not easy coming back, even for a star like Steve Smith.
It is. And then, so this is another issue. Right now, Steve Smith is coming to the twilight of his career. Obviously, he's playing well right now. Who do you replace Steve Smith with? You bring in Josh Inglis. I think it should be either Renshaw or maybe Cameron Bancroft, who have been piling on a lot of runs in domestic cricket and Shield cricket, but obviously they're being touted as openers. So Australia have those issues. But with that being said, there's such a gritty team. I mean, they bat all the way up to Mitchell Starc, even Josh Hazelwood and Nathan Lyon don't call it in, right, when they're in a difficult position. So Australia once again getting to a good total, which is 286. Obviously, Steve Smith being in the team is going to help them. So I think they're in a pretty strong position. But for the remainder of the World Test Championship, I think this middle order or lower middle order that they're going to go with, there's a lot of vulnerability over there. And if you have a better and more clinical, I won't say bowling attack, because West Indies have been doing really well with their pace bowling attack. But if you have a more clinical team that does not put down its chances, I think Australia is going to be in trouble. But I think they're going to win this match just because of how gritty they are, and having 286 in the first innings is going to help them a lot.
Absolutely. I think for far too long, I want to call it the curious case of Marnus Labuschagne. He was tipped to take over that middle order role as a senior batter, but his out of form campaign has really troubled him in Australia as well. I mean, in the World Test Championship, they slotted him as an opener. They've been trying to make these decisions. Even the fact that Cameron Green is coming at number 3 has not pleased many people around the world, who said that maybe this number 3 spot should belong to someone who's more determined to score a lot of runs and stay at the wicket as well. But Kashif Majeed, I think Australia, because they're bowling heavy always, so they don't mind that, and West Indies have always been in a struggle stage with their batting.
I guess it's a competition of between two strong bowling sides and not the batters. Most probably two strong bowling, because West Indies in their own backyard have been performing quite well. With Shamar Joseph, Alzari Joseph, they've got a very good fast bowling lineup. And same is the case with Australia. Batters are struggling for Australia when we talk about World Test Championship, when we talk about even Ashes. Apart from Steve Smith or Usman Khaja when he was here in Pakistan, I guess we haven't seen big centuries coming from their batting lineup. So most probably this is the case of two quality bowling lineups. So one thing which I must say, that Australia is also facing the negative impact of those franchise T20 crickets going around the globe. Their domestic cricket, when we go through it, they've been, now they have got all those players who've been quite regular in their Big Bash League, and now they're playing 4-day cricket. For instance, there was a time when they started to open with Sam Constance. This is where their test cricket is heading. Most probably this is an after effect of baseball cricket, or most probably this is what they have got in their domestic arena to open with Sam Constance. It was a brave move. It was a good move against India at that point of time. But what's next? This is very pertinent question, because when we talk about Usman Khaja not performing, Marnus Labuschagne not performing, Steve Smith is in his mid-30s or late 30s most probably, or mid-30s. And when we talk about what's next, I think it will be a question mark, because Australia is going with Green at number 3 position, a genuine all-rounder coming at 3. I think they have got problems.
Jabbar sahab, Australia, have been in a league of their own. Obviously, we've seen the great Australian sides, and then we see this one as well, with a lot of names now changing. But for West Indies, I think the troubles still continue. They've always been rated as a limited over T20 oriented side, but in Test cricket, they've had some names every now and then. The bowling for West Indies is very impressive at the moment, but the problem still lies with somebody who can, bat through and face this Australian bowling lineup head on for the next couple of days.
I think the ongoing test match, which was not in the favor of the batters, and the bowler are dominating in all the ways. 286 and the test match, you can say not a big total in the for the Australian team. Australian team has a strong batting line. I was expecting they will score a big one, but the top order batting, which was damaged by the Joseph, that was the major impact of that game. But Steve Smith is no doubt a good batsman. Usman Khaja, if he doesn't score in one match, next he plays good innings. He has a quality batsman, no doubt. But in this match, wicketkeeper batter Carey and Webster saved the Australian from big damage. But this is very important to keep in mind. Australia have very experienced bowling lineup. Mitchell Straw, Hazelwood, Pat Cummins, and also good spinner Lane. It means they are well managed and well planned to, before entering in the test match.
Sometimes I feel West Indies has a lot of similarities to us as a Pakistan team as well. So they're also limited overs oriented. The problems with the cricket boards are also there. Obviously, Pakistan Cricket Board financially is a lot more stable board, but then again, the amount of focus on Test cricket just seems to be not a priority at the moment.
No, there are different problems here in Pakistan and the West Indies. There was a time where they were on the peak, and their bowlers were absolutely great of the world, and there was a quay of the bowlers behind that to replace that one. But in this situation, there's ups and downs are coming in the West Indies team. They produce very good batters, very good bowlers too, but they are not in regular. They are going sometime ups and sometime down. But their cricket, you can say, focusing on the T20 or ODI, but the Test cricket is a natural cricket. They have a talent. They can save and they can utilize that in proper way and means. And I think West Indies, you can't underestimate them. They can perform at the any level. they have good bowlers, they have good batsmen, they are also good all-rounders too. But we can say that this is bad time for them. They can overcome this situation with the boards too and other issues too.
Well, certainly, but I think it's been a very interesting turn of events for the West Indies as well. I'm not saying that they don't have talent. They've had some great batters in between who have really performed well in Test cricket, and I think the aura is still there. Ali Abbas, even in the first Test match on the first day, the crowd that I saw, I would hardly believe this was a Test match in West Indies. But I think the level of interest still remains the same. It's just about finding someone who can probably stand up and at the same time cope up with that modern style of cricket as well.
So, Ahmad, what you saw in that first Test match was a culmination of efforts over the last 2 years. Listen, West Indies won a Test match in Pakistan. West Indies won a Test match at the Gabba. West Indies managed to draw a Test match against India at their home. So, they are putting in together some work. And one thing I heard, so listen, Darren Sammy is the coach at the moment, right? And I'll give him a lot of credit because he is that one person who has the ability to bring everyone together. And you see this West Indian bowling lineup, the two Josephs, and then you have Seals coming in, and then another fast bowler, the name I'm forgetting right now. They're absolutely relentless. At this moment, if you see those 4 fast bowlers, they walk into any team. So there is something happening right now. The problem is, how long does Darren Sammy manage to keep them together? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years before some of them announce their retirement and then go on to play franchise cricket. So that is the only problem. But if I look into this World Test Championship in particular, obviously losing at home to Australia, not ideal. That is probably going to happen because of their fielding, maybe the third umpire, and not taking their moments. But overall, I think West Indian cricket for at least the next 2 years with their bowling lineup, especially if like Shamar Joseph manages to stay on the field for whatever issues, I think West Indies are in a very good position to take on the best of teams and be competitive if they can get their batting sorted out. But other than that, Darren Sammy in charge, you can see there's a lot more unity in their red ball cricket at the moment, something that they've been lacking. And if you can keep the squad together for a few years even, they'll give you good results, and that is what we want to see. We all love West Indian cricket. There's this romantic memories that we have of their relentless fast bowling, and everyone wants them to do well. So they're doing well, we're all happy, and Test cricket is better for everyone watching.
One thing I must agree upon is that even from the the great West Indies teams that we talk about in the past history, from Sir Clive Lloyd to Sir Vivian Richards, the aura and the swag hasn't changed. So it still remains in the next generation of players as well, Kashif. So you always see them with that Caribbean flavor. That never goes away, whether it's Test cricket, one day, T20, or the past generation or the new generation of players.
Because the geographical location stays the same. They are all West Indians after all. So Uncle Curry was that character we used to see on those Caribbean grounds with all those makeups and all those dressings he has got. And move fast forward, that flavor has transformed the T20 cricket all around the globe. When T20 started, everybody was thinking it's a funny cricket. Even I still remember Yunusan after winning that 2009 T20 World Cup said it was a funny form of cricket, and the West Indian or the Caribbean players actually transformed all those T20 franchises into something very big, I guess. Most probably they were there and they enjoyed a lot, and so people started loving the T20 flavor, and I guess this is what we wanted to see. But right now the focus is on Test cricket and they've been performing well. I still believe they've got a potential to be a good team again. And with Darren Sammy, he knows how to glue all those players, how to be a passionate cricketer, how to be a proud Caribbean cricketer, and he loves claiming those titles. Most probably I still remember those days when their manager goes back to UAE to pick up those kids for the team and all those issues, and Darren Sammy again came on top, and when he was part of PSL, we called him Darren Sammy Khan for that matter. So I guess they're in good hands. And one more important thing, I guess with the last Test match and the decisions going against them, the way he described all those decisions, yes, I know he got penalized for that, but to be a Caribbean and to stand up against the mighty big three, against Australia, one of the Australian side, and to let ICC know that they are there to win those matches and they are there with all their legacies. It's very important that they'll be moving in a very right direction.
Well, certainly. I think he looked like more of a football manager on the sidelines than a cricket one. But he launched a perfume in Pakistan. He's very popular here, Darren Sammy. But I think what Kashif has analysed as well, he is what to West Indies what Misbah ul Haq has been for us. So I think, Jabbar Sahab, would you like to add something?
I want to add. Actually, there were big name and big glory of the West Indies cricket behind. Like in Pakistan, in hockey, we won 4 World Cup, 3 in Olympics, and now we are at world number 15. And but everyone is expecting world saw on that back. They were great players. Like this, West Indies won the first 2 World Cup and T20 World Cup. Lot of victories behind them and great players. There is also a reason behind that the local spectators, cricket lovers, and also other lovers of West Indies team want to see them on that shape. This is very unfortunate. They are not performing up to mark, and they can't reject their past. But their team, you can't underestimate that. Other team, when enter the in the ground, they know they were great in the past. That tag behind them is very important for them.
Absolutely, and I do look. I'll be very honest. If there is any one place I'd always want to watch cricket, it's the West Indies because of that Caribbean flavor. That being said, it's going to be interesting how the West Indies respond to the total on the board as well. Lords is obviously a personal favorite. You can't take it away. But you want to enjoy that Caribbean flavor for once. Thank you very much, Abdul, Jabbar, Faisal Saab and Kashif Majeed for joining us. Now we move on to football. And first of all, of course, the last 24 hours have been very happy. For certain teams as well around the world because of the Club Football World Cup. But one news that really took that flavor away and really devastated football fans around the world was the untimely demise of Diogo Jota. Of course, passed away in a horrific car crash at the age of 28 in Spain. It's just something that has broken hearts all over the world as well. It doesn't matter if you've been fans of sides he's played for or not, but the fact still remains that this is something that has brought the footballing world to a standstill, I must say. And I would believe that once again it's someone who we expected to have a stellar career going forward. Ali Abbas, what would you like to add on the untimely demise of Diogo Jota?
Ahmad, it's been absolutely devastating because being a Liverpool fan, a diehard Liverpool fan over the last 20 years, you develop this affiliation with the players. And I know you're aware of the skills of Diogo Jota, but just for the sake of our supporters, Diogo Jota is what you classically define as a streets won't forget footballer, right? Because he was injury prone, but he made huge contributions for FC Porto, Wolves in the Premier League, and then eventually Liverpool, the 3 teams that he played for. And so the thing about Diogo Jota, he only made 160 appearances for Liverpool, which is significant, but over the last 5 to 6 years, he scored about 60 goals. But all of those goals were really, really important. I mean, the last goal of his life, the last goal of Liverpool was a clinical winner that he scored against Everton, which was crucial in Liverpool winning the Premier League title. He scored a goal when Liverpool were 10 men down against Fulham to draw 2-2 in the 92nd minute. He managed to equalize versus Nottingham Forest. So that was the impact. So when a player plays like this, he has a bigger impact on the fans and his teammates. So Diogo Jota, for the entire city of Liverpool, had that impact, which is why there was a strong affiliation for this cult hero. There are certain players who might not be regarded as legends, but will always be regarded as cult heroes. Diogo Jota was already a cult hero for Liverpool. Other than that, an integral part of Portugal as well. He was a part of their team who just recently won the Nations League. He was someone who played in the final as well, had a key role. So it's really it's probably the first time I'm seeing a player central to his national team, his club, which is probably one of the best clubs in the world. Just, you wake up one morning and realize he's not there anymore. And the impact of his death has been really, it's been heavy on his teammates as well. Pedro Neto, who plays for Portugal, who also plays for Chelsea, was a really close friend of Diogo Jota. He's taken off from training. He might not be playing in Chelsea's next match in the Club World Cup. Mo Salah is cutting his holiday short and coming back to England. So the impact of his death, obviously, we know that the most impacted are going to be his family, his 3 kids and his parents, because he lost his brother as well.
I mean, for the parents, it's twice the loss.
So that's going to be the impact. But if you talk about the player, I mean, I don't know how this is going to impact the Liverpool dressing room, but I mean, just an amazing person, an amazing footballer, a very humble individual, an idol of a lot of people in Liverpool, in Portugal, and obviously for his family as well. So very tragic, and obviously we pray and wish his family all the best. But yeah, this is going to be a loss which is going to be very, very difficult for the players around him and his family members to get over, and we just send our best wishes to all of them.
Absolutely. We send our condolences to the family and friends of Diego Jota. Now we come to the Club World Cup, which is now moved on to the quarterfinal stages. They start from tonight, and it's going to be very interesting. I think the first focus all is on Al Hilal because they're being tipped to reach the semi-finals, but elsewhere we've got Chelsea, who's also in action today as well. So we will talk about all the games preceding the quarterfinals as well. But Ali Abbas, first of all, Al Hilal is on a dream run. They beat Manchester City to reach this semi-final.
Yeah,
Quarterfinal.
Exactly. And I know you want them in the semi-final. Don't get too ahead of yourself. But if you talk about this tournament in particular, so most of the people who were looking at this tournament were a little apprehensive about what it could be. But this is probably one platform where people wanted to see where Saudi football stands after all of the investments that they made, and I mean paying those players so much money in transfer fees and salaries. So what Al Hilal is doing is they're trying to, you know, find their own space in this footballing sphere, that is this new world order that we are seeing established in football. And that result in Manchester City, you know, you might look at that maybe 5-6 years down the road as one of the most crucial results in the history of football, the night where everything changed, because Al Hilal have the money, they're going to spend, they're going to bring in more players. And what Saudi League always needed was a bit of validation, a bit of validation from these European leagues, and beating a team that is Manchester City playing in England, that is also backed by a state, taking them on and beating them, you know, everything about that match was just perfect, and the result was for them was perfect. And I think they need to just totally focus. They have probably the best goalkeeper of the tournament, in my opinion, Yassine Bono at the moment, because that guy, I mean, from the World Cup, I've been a huge fan of his. So the sky is the limit for what they can do, and if they manage to pull off, I mean, I know it's not the most difficult fixture, but if they manage to reach the semi-final or final, I think it's going to be amazing for the Saudi League.
They're up against a very, very talented side, and like I said, I often don't like the fact that, you know, fans around the world have underrated the Brazilian league as well. But you know, they've got some quality players and a style of football that has always been mighty successful in Brazil.
Exactly, and you know, Ahmed, there's something that we've all been missing now. Al Hilal are used to playing in higher temperatures.
Yeah.
The Brazilian
They're
teams
more
are also
accustomed, yes.
the Brazilian teams are also used to playing at higher temperatures. So this is something that we've been neglecting, because a lot of these people, listen, the last World Cup that took place in the United States was in the 1990s, when the climate was a lot more easy towards all of us, if I say that in a more balanced manner. So this time, you know, Manchester City obviously felt the heat. You just saw the match between Chelsea and Benfica lasting 5 hours because they had to take a break because of the weather, not necessarily the heat, but how the weather was. So I mean, this is going to be, Al Hilal might find this fixture slightly more difficult as compared to what they had with Manchester City, and I don't say that as a dig to Manchester City. Great team, great manager, and a lot of money, right? But I think they're going to find it a little bit more difficult. And yeah, finally the tournament is, you know, gaining momentum. It was a slow start because of the crowds and the fans not really feeling it because of the teams that were in it or not. But if you look at these small sentimental stories that these clubs have for this World Cup, the likes of Al Hilal or really taking it on with the most passion, you tend to enjoy it, and I'm going to enjoy the fixture.
Absolutely, and I must say, I think even if you look at the lineup itself, I think Ali Abbas is absolutely spot on. This would be a dream run if Al Hilal managed to win this Club World Cup. I mean, everything would be aligned for them to take this, and it would be a story to tell the world. And I think the investment in Saudi football has just been crazy over the years, from you know, moving on to a journey of buying football clubs around the world to now investing in their own league is just something that has been phenomenal. And the amount of money Cristiano Ronaldo is getting is already making headlines around the world. But thank you very much, Ali Abbas, for joining us. Two important fixtures, of course, continue tonight, where we see Al Hilal, who are, of course, facing Fluminense, and then, of course, we move on to the other match where Chelsea, of course, face Palmeiras. So I think it's going to be absolutely Palmeiras, of course, against Chelsea. But I think the day after tomorrow is going to be even more interesting, because when you've got a match between PSG and Bayern and Borussia Dortmund playing Real Madrid, I think those two were worthy of finals. But whoever wins that game and moves on to the semi-final, more interest in the semi-final, and then even more in the final. So I think that's really going to set up the bar very, very high for the amount of football we're seeing in the next couple of days as well. That wraps it up. From me and the entire team of Sports Extra, it's goodbye for now.